with a GHGC 107. Ball named Melvin.
Vince, and that says a lot. Here comes McCready. Oh, he just sucked the gravity right out of the building.
To the left goes Magic. He's got it. He didn't shoot it. 5 seconds left. Magic down the middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12. Good!
Would be 18 for 20 from the line and an 81-point game. 55 in the second half. Ladies and gentlemen,
good things will happen, not just with him scoring, but then also it open up. Oh, man! Hello.
3 seconds left. Cleveland triggers in. James, 2 seconds. 1 second for the win. LeBron James delivers.
Pass comes into Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win it! They win it!
What up, y'all? It's your man Melvin Jr. back with another video, and this time is another episode of the Hoop Group Chat. So just so y'all know, Hoop Group Chat, everybody out there got them big group chats where they be talking about sports, or talking about life, or talking about whatever's going on at that point in time. And this one is my way of being able to do that, but to do that with Hoop instead. I'm in a couple of different group chats where we talk about basketball primarily. And I was like, man, I really want to take that and transfer that over to my YouTube channel. So that's what I'm doing right now, and that's why we got the Hoop Group Chat. Alright, so like I told y'all in the last video, the Lakers, Golden State, and Chicago are my squads. This video is going to be about Chicago. Shout out to the hometown, originally from Chicago, even though I'm living out here in New York at this point. And, you know, Chicago will always be there for me. Now, thing is, Chicago has always and forever made me mad with their front office, which is why when I was there younger, it kind of soured on me, and that's when the Lakers began to creep in. But nonetheless, I still follow the team almost religiously. Still watch as much of their games as I can get. Being out here, I can't watch them with WGN all the time anymore. But I still follow the squad, and I still want them to do well. So I want to dive into some of the things that they've done this offseason and kind of talk about what I expect. There we go. Kind of talk about what I expect for the Bulls to do a little bit of this year, and some of the things that they've done from the draft all the way until now. And as more Bulls updates come up, I'll be able to hop on and be like, yo, here's how I feel about this specific situation. But first, I wanted to give y'all here's where the draft was all the way until now and how I feel about it. So first thing that we're going to talk about is the draft, who they needed, who they drafted, some of the needs that they had to fill. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I was not a big Wendell Carter Jr. fan. And it wasn't so much because I didn't watch who he was. I didn't really see that much of him in college. I didn't really watch as much college basketball. So when it got down to their pick, you can even ask my roommate, who's a huge Knicks fan, I wanted them to draft Colin Sexton. And that's not because I don't have any confidence in my man Chris Dunn, but it's because I didn't see enough out of the games that I saw early on in the year to have the confidence in Chris Dunn. And I knew drafting Colin Sexton right away, he would be able to provide a spark plug. Let alone, bruh, my man was doing a 3-on-5 back at Alabama and almost won the game, bro. Hold on, let me turn this light up. My man was, that ain't help none at all. Let me do this other one. That's a little bit better, even with the sun. That's a little bit better. So my man was playing 3-on-5 when he was back at Alabama and almost won the game for them. Like, yo, that alone said he got a mentality that's different. He's able to go and get buckets. Now, Chris Dunn, towards the end of the year, really started to show, he started to grow more so into himself and become that guy that the Minnesota Timberwolves initially thought they were going to get when they drafted him. So I honestly think that we got a steal when you combine Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn, especially with the way that things are working out with Jimmy Butler right now, because he don't even want to stay there because Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns right now don't want to really work for it like that. So I wanted them to draft Colin Sexton. I was like, please do it. We need another strong guard next to Zach LaVine, but they didn't. They drafted Wendell Carter Jr. And my first thought was, okay, who is this guy? What does he do? From the highlights and from what my roommate told me, they said, okay, think like Al Horford, but better. But then, yo, when they came up with the he's Carlos Boozer, I was like, dog, listen, we had enough of Boozer on the low post block all the years back then. I don't want anything like that on the squad right now, especially with the way that basketball is set up, that those guys that were so traditional in the low post and that's how they got their buckets, like Carlos Boozer with the 2 dribbles and then the spin, fade, that's not going to work all the time like it used to anymore. That's not how the game is played. However, I think that from seeing him in Summer League, shout out to him because he was also, well, I'm going to get into that a little bit more. But from seeing him in Summer League, he has a lot more traits of Al Horford than he does of Carlos Boozer. We'll get into that a little bit more. And when they were getting down to Chandler Hutchinson, I really was, again, another player that I didn't know too much about. I just didn't want them to take Grayson Allen. Like, please don't take Grayson Allen. We don't need that whatsoever. Just stay as far away from that as possible. Then Utah came down and said, hey, homie, we got you. Don't even worry about it. I was like, thank you, Jesus, because I did not need that to happen. Now, Chandler Hutchinson, again, he's not somebody that I heard a lot about coming from this college season. So when they gave the comparison to Kyle Kuzma, y'all know that I'm a big Lakers fan. I was like, okay, he plays the 2 and the 3. Kyle Kuzma plays the 3 and the 4. Let me see what's going on here. I don't think they meant as much as in playing style, the way in which Kyle Kuzma plays versus the way Chandler Hutchinson plays. I think that in the comparison that they made on draft night, it was a much more of a, he's somebody that can contribute right away. When I went and looked him up, 6'7", 6'8", 22 years old, similar to Kuzma in that sense, in saying he can come in right now and give you something. And that's one thing that I really did like and that I have been liking more so nowadays with people that make the later round draft picks. A lot of the guys who've been in college for some time, some people begin to sour on them because they're like, oh, their potential isn't as high, where I actually disagree and say that their potential in some cases is higher because they can give you this right now. And if they can give you a solid amount of whether that's scoring or defense or rebounding, you can then use that, transfer that same passion, energy, work ethic over into other aspects to help grow your game even more. And I really think he could be somebody that could be a good rotational piece. Now, upon drafting, I thought that, okay, is he going to be the guy that's going to replace Zach LaVine? Because this might be a move to say, hey, we're going to go in a completely new direction. I honestly thought that the whole Zach LaVine thing would not happen, and that they would just say, you know what, we're just going to blow the whole thing up. We're going to rebuild. That's not what ended up occurring. So let's go ahead and scroll through a little bit more. And now let's move on to how the draftees performed in the Summer League. Now, this is where I'm getting back to what happened with Wendell Carter Jr. When I saw, first of all, shout out to him. He made all first team Summer League. So that's really good. And that shows a sign of at least that he can do the bare minimum to be good around players that are not as good or that may not necessarily be on that NBA level, or even some of them that are, he can still do well. Because remember, Marvin Bagley didn't get this. DeAndre Ayton didn't get this. Jarvis Jackson out of Memphis didn't get this either. Wendell Carter Jr. did. The reasons why he did that, I believe, is one, his defensive presence. He really showed he has an awareness, an acute awareness that we've seen Robin show here and there, and he showed a lot more when he was younger in the NBA, but he really showed that I can pay attention to where the ball is, and I can also pay attention to where my man is, but if something were to happen in a sense where I need to switch over and be there, I can do that and not lose track of what's going on around me. That's something that's going to be very useful and very helpful in today's NBA. That's something that makes Clint Capella so good right now. It's the fact that he can be aware of what's going on defensively at all times. Now, I think that Wendell Carter Jr. has the offensive capacity to be a way better scorer and a way better offensive threat than Clint Capella could be, but you can kind of get a sense of where I'm going for on the defensive end, especially with as many block shots as Wendell Carter Jr. was giving us. But the thing that I enjoy most about that is that not just he's giving us the block shots, but you don't have to go and block a shot every time, but the fact that a defender now coming to the basket knows that you're going to be there, you're able to already alter so many shots offensively or defensively in his end, offensively on the other guy's end, that they may think about trying to adjust their shot before they even get there because your mere presence is something that they already have to think about. When I played college and basketball, that was something that I really got to see, is that when these guys are moving that fast or moving that quick, and you have to be aware of the adjustments that are going on before you even get to the basket. Sometimes some players are looking over their shoulders to see who's coming, or they're trying to say, hey, I need to adjust my shot now before it gets blocked, before I even get there. That's something that I enjoyed a lot out of him. His timing on his jumps were good as well, and that's getting back to the same point of, okay, he's quick on his feet and able to get up. Let me get that block. Okay, let me alter this shot. Let me grab this rebound, start the break. And he was also able to dribble the ball to start the break. Shades of Joakim Noah and what he was giving us as well. I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'm kind of salty that they didn't get Colin Sexton, because Colin Sexton is a beast, as we know. However, I really like this pick because it shores us up in the front court, because we really needed a good young center that was able to play in today's game. Robin, you good, but Robin ain't everything that we need right now. I'm forgetting my man's name. Hold on, Fabricio. Correct. I said Fabricio. Cristiano Felicio. There it is. It's just very raw, and I don't think he's going to be able to give us everything it is that we hope we'd be able to get out of him. And then Omer Sheik, yo, we shipped him out some years ago for a reason. You just back here on the cap hit, homie. It is what it is. We appreciate you taking this cap space, and when you're done, we can go ahead and sign somebody else. So I honestly wanted Robin Lopez to start the year off because I wanted to see how Wendell Carter Jr. would react after the first few games of Summer League. But after watching his entire Summer League debut and all the games and all the highlights, I'm perfectly fine with him starting, because I believe he has it within him to not get lost mentally and not get down on himself, and understand that this year, while he needs to prove himself, is also going to be a year of learning, and a year of learning how to adjust on the fly. So I'm really appreciative of that. And I already talked about his awareness. I had that written down as well. His awareness is pretty good already. And offensively, yo, the fact that my man was able to just spot up and hit stuff, I'm like, oh my goodness. Yo, this is amazing. When I get to the I can go ahead and hop into it now. When you talk about the guys that the Bulls have with who their potential starters would be, when you have like a Chris Dunn, a Zach LaVine, probably gonna end up being Jabari, Lowry, and then Wendell, you can now space the floor out so much that anybody can drive, and the lane will now be open because everybody's a threat to shoot, which is so amazing to be able to have, because we all know it ain't been that way for a long time. If ever. So now that we have that, it kind of helps us to really be able to help and find our way in the East. And I think that we can surprise a lot of folks in the East this year as well. So moving down to Chandler Hutchinson. Again, like I was saying before with the Kyle Kuzma comparison, nothing about how he played in the Summer League blew me away, but I did like the fact that he was able to contribute right away. The fact that he said, okay, I can come in and be a consistent force. I can come in and get 12 to 16 points and grab 7 to 8 rebounds, and also find people on I have the offensive awareness to find people when they're open, or to be able to knock down a shot consistently. Come in right away and contribute. I don't want anybody that's going to be too much of a project to say, all right, we might have to wait 3 years to really get and see who they are. Because Chicago is at a point where with the young pieces that you have, yes, you can wait 3 years, but it would be a waste of 3 years when you can have guys that can come in right now, play, contribute, and then get better as time goes on. Really like that a lot about him. Now, I thought that, again, upon drafting him, he was going to be the 2 guard, because I was like, well, does this mean that this is the end of Zach LaVine? But now I'm going into some of the new signings and the re-signings that they had. This means that he can be a nice secondary guy underneath Zach LaVine. Maybe even become one of a very good 6-man for the Bulls this upcoming year. So now going into some of the signings that they had, number one, we got to start off with Zach LaVine. For a minute, I did think that Sacramento was going to get him, even though I think that would have messed up his career, because I honestly don't have any faith in what Sacramento's doing. I like you, Vlade Divac. I don't have faith in who that owner is and what he's trying to do. I mean, he called my man's the next Steph Curry out of Utah. I was going to say out of Utah, out of Oklahoma. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Hold on. I'm finna Google next Steph Curry, so that way he pops up. Next Steph Curry is Sacramento. He was in New Orleans for a minute, And Buddy Hield, that's where he is. My man thought that Buddy Hield was going to be the next Steph Curry. I was like, bro, no. I've been a Steph Curry fan since he was in high school. I found out about him in Slam Magazine when I was back in high school in the Chi. Been following his career since then. Watched majority of his games his freshman year. I was like fiending for links to watch majority of his games. Same thing sophomore year, junior year, he was all on TV, and I was like, yo, Steph is going to be that guy. I'm not going to lie, I didn't think Steph would be the guy that he is now, but I definitely knew that Steph was going to be a force to be reckoned with. Buddy Hield ain't got the ball handling ability like that, or the mental fortitude to say, I'm going to become that guy, like much what Steph has. All these birds and whatnot coming from. Anyway, that just kind of threw me off my point, but it brings me back to Zach LaVine and saying that I don't think that that would have been a good situation for him, because it's just a lot going on at a point in time when they don't have a real structure. Now, what Chicago has, even though I'm not the biggest Fred Hoiberg fan in the world, I do think that they have enough of a structure to say, hey, Zach, we want you to be our guy, and we believe in you. When Zach was coming back off that injury last year, I was very hopeful to see what is it that he's going to be able to give us right now. Is he going to come back and say, I don't want to necessarily go all the way out because I still need to test my knee out? Or is he going to say, I'm going for broke the minute I get there? And from seeing him come in shooting, come in jumping, switching it up, dunking left, dunking right, doing everything, I'm like, he's confident in his knee. Cool. And the fact that he was only 22 last year, now he's 23, gives me even more confidence to say he's just growing into the type of player that he's going to become. And I think that with everything that he did last year and having a full season under his belt this year and working hard over the offseason, I really believe that Zach LaVine could become a 22-point game, a 22-a-game scorer. With his outside shooting ability, with him being able to mix it in the mid-range game, and his first and second step being so quick, because that's one of the ways in which he's able to get by folks and really surprise them. Everybody and their mama know that he got hops, but his first step is so fast, and that burst is so quick that he's able to get past people that it throws a lot of people off guard. And with that, and him using his athleticism to still get him into places where he normally wouldn't be able to get into, or other people wouldn't be able to get into, I definitely think that can help him get to 22 a game. So I'm glad that we brought Zach back. That shores us up in the shooting guard position and also says, okay, Chandler Hutchison, give us what you can right now and we'll evaluate as things are going forward. Next up with that, Jabari Parker. Now, this would be a good time to plug the Jabari Parker and Jahlil Okafor picture that I took with them a couple years ago, right before Jahlil was going to Duke and when Jabari was back in Milwaukee. What up, y'all? Hope y'all doing well. Obviously, Jabari, you are. Jahlil, I'm hoping that you find a squad too. Actually, let me throw Jahlil on there because I want to talk about him a little bit once I'm done talking about some of the other guys. Now, I think that Jabari is somebody whom, obviously when he was drafted, he was going to be the guy in Milwaukee. And then those injuries kind of cut that. And Giannis Antetokounmpo really stepped up and became the guy in which he is right now. I still think that Jabari has a lot of good left in him. Obviously, before he got hurt, he was averaging like, I want to say 22. I don't have it up right here, but I believe he was averaging it's between 18 to 22 a game. 22, I believe, before the first time he got hurt. When he came back, he was averaging 18 around that time. That's still amazing. And the fact that Jabari has always been so offensively oriented means that no matter what, he's going to be able to get buckets. So with him and Zach LaVine both being able to give us 22 individually, I think that holds well for the progress that Lowry's going to have to make, for the offensive player that Wendell was going to become, and then that definitely opens it up for Chris Dunn to be able to become a more offensive-minded player and say, I can knock down a shot when they find it to me, or when they beat their man and somebody else comes over to help, or I can even make the right pass and get a hockey assist from them, or he's getting the assist and either Zach or Jabari are getting a hockey assist from him making the right pass as well. Only thing that scares me about Jabari is I just need Jabari to stay healthy for a full season. That's why this is a 2-year deal with a team option, and this year is a tryout to say, hey, we believe in who you can become, but we need to still make sure that you're going to become that guy and that you can play for a full year. So I'm really hoping that he's able to stay healthy and play this entire year, because that would be amazing. Because I think Jabari offensively is somebody that can really go in this league. And I would rate him in the top 20 in terms of players being able to get buckets in this league. Now, where it kind of sours is when he had the comments about, I'm paraphrasing, I don't get paid to play defense. I get paid to play offense and to score the ball, because if you look around the league, a lot of players aren't playing defense. Honestly, Jabari, a lot of players at your position are playing defense. However, I can understand what you're saying in the fact that you weren't being brought in to be able to shut somebody down, but you're being brought in to get buckets. Cool, perfectly fine. But know that you're going against guys in the league who are going to get buckets. You're going to be the guy who's going to have to guard some of those people. So if you can't stay in front of them, we're going to have some issues this year, and we definitely going to need you to do that. I don't want to put Wendell Carter Jr. on a LeBron or on a Paul George or anybody else of that stature, or Kawhi Leonard or DeMar DeRozan. I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to need you to step it up on that end. I believe you got it in you. Again, I just need you to stay healthy for a full year, because I think that you and Zach can be a great 1-2 punch for this year coming up. Antonio Blakeney. I went to a Windy City Bulls game last year, and I was able to watch him up close because I've always been curious as to why he hasn't gotten the hype in which he deserved. And even KD shouted him out the other day and saying that, yo, man, somebody needs to get this boy a contract. Somebody get this young bull a contract. And I'm glad that he did that, because it really shows the confidence level that he has in that young man, to show, yo, this man can play. Stop tripping. Same thing I figured out when I went to the Windy City League game. I believe they were playing the Long Island Nets. That's who they were playing. And they ended up losing. However, I saw enough flashes in Blakeney and how consistent he was in his play to say he can certainly get a backup 2-guard spot on this Bulls roster. He's not better than Chris Dunn, but I think he can be a serviceable backup to who Chris Dunn is and what Chris Dunn can contribute. I'm glad that the Bulls are able to give him that contract, because it gives him the confidence to say, okay, let me work really hard, come here, prove my worth, and find me a home here in Chicago. Because I believe that you can, Antonio, so I really want you to step up this year and do that for us. Fred Hoiberg, I put him on there just to be like, man, honestly, I was not a fan when they got rid of Thibs and they brought Fred Hoiberg in. I never really saw it in him, because at that point I was super steeped into college basketball, and I think that they were trying to ride the Brad Stevens train and say, let's find a young guy that can grow and really do things here. So far I haven't been able to see that, but with him talking about, yo, we're going to be a lot more of a running team this year, and with them having the personnel to be able to match up and do that, he might be able to surprise some folks with how well this Bulls team is going to play. But I do believe this is Fred's last year to really get it together, because if he does not, I think in 2019 the Bulls are going to move in a new direction with the head coach, and he's going to have to go back to the college ranks. I want to jump into 2019 real quick, but I just want to bring up Jahlil Okafor real fast to say, if you haven't had a chance, please check out, well, I might be able to pull it up right here, the clip in which he had of him working out and shooting a lot of threes, and just showing that he's really slimmed down, trying to change his style of play so that way he can get a new NBA contract. I know a lot of folks were like, yo, we brought Jabari home, let's just go ahead and bring Jahlil home. And here's what I'll say about that. I'm for it, to be honest with you. And the reason why I'm for it is because the same thing that we were just doing with Antonio Blakeney, I want to do with Jahlil Okafor. And I know this is blasphemous to some folks to say, how you going to disrespect that man that was a number 2 overall pick, or number 1 overall pick back then, or I'm forgetting, he was top 3 at that point in time. How are you going to disrespect that man and say, hey, play for the Windy City Bulls on a 2-way contract so that way we can swap you back and forth? Because his style of play, Jahlil hasn't been as he hasn't been as dominant on the defensive end as we hoped he would become in his NBA career. And offensively, a lot of his game was predicated on him being able to body somebody up and get buckets down in the post. That's not necessarily going to work all the time in the NBA. Now, it works a lot in the playoffs. In the playoffs, in certain matchups, it comes alive, and you need somebody like that. However, regular season, it ain't going to do nothing but hold anybody down. And I really want Jahlil to be able to find a home here by going to Windy City, proving that, yo, I'm still that guy, I'm still that dude, I can still dominate, which will then give you a chance to be able to come up to the Bulls and be like, all right, cool, that makes Robin, that makes Felicio, and that makes Omir even more expendable than what they are, because we know we have a good, reliable backup for Wendell Carter Jr. and Jahlil Okafor. Or even be able to create some competition between them two to say, hey, who's really going to step up and become that guy? I see it in Wendell Carter more so than I see it in Jahlil right now, but I think that Jahlil still has it to be able to prove his worth there. So that's for sure going to be interesting. I really wish that they could do that, because I think that Jahlil will be a steal for what he could become if they're able to sign him to a D-League contract. I said D-League. G-League contract and move forward with him. I think it'd be great. Now, last thing that I want to say before I end up wrapping up this video is 2019. 2018-2019 season and 2019 free agency. Now, I think this year, if I'm being completely honest, the ceiling for this Bulls team will probably be a 6th seed in the East. Let me pull up the Eastern Conference right now, just so that way I can talk and speak some more light into it. Boom, 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 boom. My bad, y'all. 1 second, 1 second. Super unprofessional. I forgive. Please forgive your boy. I thought I had this pulled up already. All right, so here we go. Boston obviously is #1. Just because the guys that they had last year and bringing back Kyrie and Gordon Hayward. We still need to see how they're all going to gel. However, I have enough confidence in Brad Stevens' system that he's going to be able to figure that out. After that, I'm going to put Toronto #2 because of the Kawhi Leonard trade. And as much as I love DeMar DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard's a much better all-around player at this point in time. We'll see what happens when Kawhi is outside the system. Remember a couple of years ago, Kevin Durant called Kawhi Leonard a system player. So let's see what happens outside the system. But I think that with Kawhi being who he is, if he can take what he did in San Antonio and bring that to Toronto for up until February or throughout this year, they can become a good, very good #2 seed. So we'll see how that goes. #3, I'm putting Philadelphia. I think that Ben Simmons is going to take that next step up. I think Joel Embiid is going to take that next step up. And I think that Markelle Fultz, I got some insiders who are from Philly that's been talking to me, and some folks that's been covering Markelle for some time. And they like, bro, not only is Markelle working hard, but Markelle got swole. Swole in the sense to be like, he wants people to feel that he is there with some of the moves that he gonna be putting on folks. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And after that, I'm going to put Milwaukee #4. I need to see what's gonna happen with that organization, the stability that they got. I want to see them take that next step. I honestly think that they're a more complete team than Philadelphia, but I think that the pieces around Giannis need to step up more so to be able to keep that consistent. Because Ben, Joel, Markelle kind of can all lean on each other. Much more Joel and Ben. Markelle has to take that step, but they can lean on each other in a sense to really push through in the Eastern Conference. Giannis doesn't really have anybody on that squad that he can lean on like that, if you get what I mean. A lot of these teams have 2 guys or a third guy that they can really lean on to do that. He doesn't, so he needs to do that. What's that? 5 brings me to Indiana. I think Victor Oladipo finna take another step, become a quality player. I think the Tyreek Evans signing was very good to help shore up their bench and to get them some more points that they need. And I think they'll be able to carry that over 1 more year. Now, here's why I put Chicago #6. I ain't got no faith in Washington. I have no faith in Washington whatsoever. Just because the fact that John Wall was sitting out last year and they was all talking so reckless and saying how they was a better team when he was out, that bothered the hell out. That bothered the shit out of me. I'm going to be honest with y'all. You can't be the team leader, and when you're out the lineup, people saying stuff like that. That's like, oh, you got some head cases over there. Scott Brooks really don't have a handle to what's going on. Not only that, you signed Dwight Howard too? Cool. Athletically, y'all are amazing. I don't have any faith in y'all though. I don't have any faith in y'all. Y'all are always that team that's like, they could be really good, but it's not all here. So until they can prove that to me, I don't have as much faith in them. Miami, I see is kind of an 8th seed. They don't really have enough people stepping up, in my opinion, to really be able to compete like that on a consistent basis. I thought that my man's out of Duke, Winslow, was going to be a little bit better than what he was and really be able to lead that team forward. He's not doing that. I thought Hassan Whiteside, like, yo, his window has aged quick. I thought that he was going to be better too. And I mean, how much more are they going to get out of Dragic? Like, he's good, but he needs some help down there in Miami, bruh, and he ain't really getting it. And Cleveland, I'm looking at everybody that was in the playoffs last year. Cleveland, stop it. Stop it. Stop it right now. Anybody that's thinking Cleveland, they're going to be a really good team. They're going to be a playoff-bound team. I think Detroit's going to be better than Cleveland. I think Charlotte's going to be better than Cleveland. I think Brooklyn has a chance to be better than Cleveland. I definitely think Washington and Miami are both better than Cleveland. So y'all can go ahead and get out of here. Detroit just brought in my man, Coach of the Year, Dwayne Casey, and now they're going to have Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond for a full year, and Reggie Jackson's supposed to be coming back healthy. Yeah, I'm going to pick them over Cleveland. Yeah, my bad, video cut off. I think that the Bulls can really become a strong 6 seed with having Chris Dunn and him being able to defensively be very active and also be able to, remember, knock down shots, get assists, hockey assists from other guys, smart offensive awareness type of guy. Zach LaVine coming in, really having something to prove this year after everything that everybody was saying, and that he wants to show folks that he's as good as advertised, if not better, than the contract that he got. Jabari Parker coming in, getting buckets, hopefully plays some D. Lowry Markkanen, I think he's going to take a next step up. And I think Wendell Carter Jr. is going to be really good as well. Only person that kind of, no, I'm not even going to say worries me. And off the bench, I'm going to get some good productions from Chandler Hutchinson. I think Bobby, make him see red. Portis is going to do really well. Yo, I'm a Bobby Portis guy. I really like Bobby Portis, and I hope he stays. He gives that toughness that sometimes young teams need, and I hope that he does that. And you know, he ain't scared to knock somebody out real quick if they say the wrong word or two. I think they can become a strong 6 seed if they're able to stay consistent throughout this year, and Zach and Jabari are really able to step up, and Lowry is able to take that next step to kind of alleviate some of that pressure. And with him being the fastest rookie to hit 100 threes this year and be able to stretch out the floor, Bulls going to be perfectly fine, y'all. 2019, I think that the Bulls will be a nice, young, attractive team, but this year is really going to set the precedent and if they're going to be able to attract free agents. Because you got to shore up that Fred Hoiberg situation. We got to really see what's going on with management. Those are two things that are really going to help attract or push away players. But with that, if the Bulls can really step up and be a strong 6 seed this year, hell, even push Milwaukee or Indiana for a 5 seed, I think that the Bulls can really be able to attract some people that we haven't been able to do so since Kobe was flirting with coming, and since LeBron was flirting with coming to Chicago too. Man, thank y'all so much for tuning in to this episode of the Hoop Group Chat. I hope that y'all really appreciate it. Let me know what you think about everything that I had to say down below. I'm very curious in what it is that y'all got to say. I have this channel so that way I can openly talk to folks and be able to come down in the comments and say, hey, this is what you think, here's what I think, and kind of go back and forth with all that, man. I love doing that, and I would really love and appreciate it if y'all did so down below. If y'all think I'm goofy, if y'all think I'm crazy, if y'all think I'm foo-foo, let me know down in the comments about anything that I said in this video. If y'all think, hey, yo, Melvin, you 100 with it, you spot on, like on Baby and them, on Mama and them, you good, folk, then go ahead and let me know that down below too. All right, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you for tuning into this video. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel so that I can bring y'all some more high quality HQ content like this. Hey, speaking of which, I need to go listen to some G Herbo, get my day started. Stay blessed, stay favored, always stay tailored. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace and love.